Welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show, a program which focuses on local organizations, municipalities, nonprofits, as well as current events which are affecting the city of Lynn. Here with me today, some of the partners behind the Downtown Lynn Cultural District. Guys, thanks for being here. I just want to introduce you real quick. Emily Ruddock. Introducing Emily Ruddock, the new director of the Downtown Lynn Cultural District. We also have Kate Lucchini, the executive director over at the Lynn Museum. We have Corey Jackson, president of Arts After Hours, and Kit Jenkins, executive director over at the Raw Art Works. Guys, thanks for being here today. We're here today to talk about some of your most recent efforts. If those of you at home aren't aware, these guys have been making a whole lot of improvement on the Downtown Lynn Cultural District, and they've been very animate about trying to involve people. So it definitely makes sense to have them on today's program and highlight what they're doing today. Before we get too much into the subject matter, let's learn a little bit about yourselves and what you're doing to improve the city of Lynn.
Great. Well, can I start?
Sure you can.
All right. Thanks, Sean. So my name is Emily Ruddock, and I am the director of the Downtown Lynn Cultural District, and I started May 1st. And what I see as the opportunity for the Downtown Lynn Cultural District is really helping to promote the downtown area in the district and the really great things that are already happening in the district. There are phenomenal moments of arts and cultural programming that are happening that everyone should know about and be getting involved in, and then also taking a look and seeing how can we use arts and cultural individuals and organizations and artists to really leverage those skills to make the downtown area a vibrant, lively place that people want to be a part of, to live and work and play.
Great. I don't envy you. It sounds like your workload is pretty high right now. Just started in May, right?
Yeah, I did.
They threw you right into the mix, and so far you've done a lot of great work. I know you're a busy person. Kate, let's talk a little bit about you.
Thanks, first of all, for having us. It's really nice. I was on once before to talk about the Cultural District, and that was a number of months ago, and a lot has changed even since then.
Great.
I myself, as you mentioned, I'm the executive director of the Lynn Museum. It's an old institution. It's over 100 years old. But whereas the mission started off really about preserving Lynn's history in the way old historical societies did, we've really moved into a new model where we embrace the community. We really want to improve the neighborhood and bring people downtown, and that's really where we're going.
I'm actually a member over there, and there's a ton of value in it. It's really cool to be able to walk through what you guys have down there. A lot of the exhibits are, I mean, especially if you're a Lynner, right? You hear all the time, I'm a Lynn guy. But being a Lynn guy, being able to go into that museum, it's a special place. So I think what you guys are doing is phenomenal. Corey, Arts After Hours, great organization here in Lynn. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so we've been going for 5 years now. This summer will be our 5th anniversary, and I've been here for 6, living downtown and enjoying sort of all the creations that have been happening. Because when I moved here, everything was boarded up in Central Square except for Raw Art Works, and Dunkin' Donuts was just coming in, but that was about it. So it was like a blank canvas. And we put Arts After Hours together literally to give everybody something to do in their downtown, and I think that's been the most important thing, is just getting people involved and getting people creating entertainment right here in Lynn. You don't have to go to Boston, you don't have to go to Salem, you can get it right here. And that's really what we're all about, driving people downtown to see music, theater, and visual art.
If you guys at home haven't been to any Arts After Hours programs, you gotta go. These guys are, they're elite. The amount of shows that you guys bang out in the short amount of time is just amazing. You guys are superheroes when it comes to theater.
Thank you.
Because my experience, it's like 4 or 5 months. You get some time. Tech Week's a whole week. You guys are like 2 days Tech Week. We're right on, ready to go. It's amazing stuff. So happy to have you on the program. Kit?
Well, with things boarded up as they were when Raw landed in Central Square 20 years ago, February 1st, there was art and culture, but it was paintings of people on those boards doing things. And it was not quite tumbleweeds coming down the street, but we were kind of lonely. So having partners and having neighbors and having people who've moved into the lofts has been very exciting for us. As I say, we've been in downtown for 20 years. Raw has been celebrating our 25th anniversary for the past year, and we've just quietly turned 26 years old. But our mission is to ignite the desire to create and the confidence to succeed in young people. So we work with kids age 7 to 18 and then some. through the arts, particularly visual art and digital film, and in sort of a small and growing way through the art of words, we create a safe space for them to tell us what's really going on in their lives, and then to tell the rest of the community through the arts.
The Raw Artworks is just it's a phenomenal organization, and it really speaks to the amount of time that you guys have been around too, without a doubt. I mean, nobody sticks around Lynn for that long unless there's a significant amount of value to it. I remember being in high school and seeing kids who were members of the program. I never really knew what it was. I thought it was just a boys and girls club, and looking at their artwork and being like, this is not high school level type of work. So what you're doing down there is phenomenal. A lot of the guys that you have working even went to high school with me. They're big arts guys. So if you guys are interested in arts, definitely without a doubt, Lynn Raw Artworks is a place to check out. So we're here today highlighting the Downtown Lynn Cultural District, right? Corey, you had mentioned it. You hit the nail on the head. You came in, you saw a blank canvas, right? A lot of people come into Lynn, they see the boarded up buildings, not so much anymore, but they just see it as just a wasted opportunity and not really worth the time. And you guys are proving the exact opposite of that, which is like huge, and I'm a big advocate of what you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about what it was when you first came in and what it is today and what you hope it to be in the future. Who wants to take this one?
I can start since I brought
Corey,
it up,
yeah,
I guess.
sure.
So yeah, I mean, when I first got here, you know, I grew up in Lynn. My grandparents were on Essex Street and up in the Highlands. So I really feel like I was always downtown with my mom shopping at all the stores, you know, back in the day, everybody likes to talk about. So when I moved, when I decided to move and buy a piece of property, I looked at, I call them all the L words. I looked at Lowell, I looked at Lawrence, I looked at Lynn, a little bit of Salem, a little bit of Boston. You know, Lynn was priced right. It was, and like I said, when I saw the landscape in Central Square, it seemed ripe for creation. And obviously that's something that I value. And so we just decided to move there, and since then so much has happened. I think a lot of people don't really understand. Maybe you understand the best, being here over 20 years, how much has changed, even in the short amount of time that I've been here, that you've been at the museum. So many new restaurants, a shift in sort of the demographics of the neighborhood, and all the great cuisine that's brought downtown. And then all of the different cultural organizations really starting to do more with the community, for the community, being destinations for tourists, all of the above. It's happening. We just got to get the word out more, and I'm so happy that we're here to be able to do that.
Yeah, we had met before the program, and you actually gave me a quick history lesson in Lynn that I was never aware of, and that's what Lynn used to be. Lynn used to be that. You know, that was the place to go, watch a movie, go see some theater from all the surrounding communities. And we were talking about, you know, Lynn, City of Sin. I'm not a proponent to it. I'm trying to switch it to City of Win. It's not catching on so well. We got to get a few championships under our belt. But you had mentioned to me that it was originally called the City of Sin because that was where you would go for your night out. So people would get dressed up, put on their rubies or whatever people used to wear back in the 20s. But if you look at those pictures, that's exactly what Lynn was, what you guys are trying to do now. And it's really cool. I don't know if you knew about the amount of workload that you were taking on when you saw this blank canvas, Corey. No. But
I'm gonna run the other direction.
I doubt that you guys are regretting anything now. I mean, you're making continuous improvements without a doubt. So it's obvious how you're involved without a doubt. Now, Emily, you're new over here. You've been around since May. So you've already kind of developed a nice rapport with these guys. You work well together. I would call you the partners, definitely without a doubt, of the Downtown Lynn Arts District. Let's talk a little bit about what you're hoping to get out of this whole experience.
Sure. So this is, I will confess, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is my dream job, Sean. I came from working in a large regional theater in Louisville, Kentucky, and then got a degree in public administration. And really what I'm interested in is public policy and advocacy for the arts. And so that's kind of complicated and silly, but more importantly, what I'm interested in is using arts and culture to make big changes happen in neighborhoods. And that's the thing that I think we can really do here, and that's my vision. You know, there's a really great, in terms of value, there's a really great statistic from the Americans for the Arts, which is a national organization, that in Essex County, every time someone goes to attend a play, go to a museum, go see a dance concert, they will spend approximately $26 in restaurants, parking, and retail. $26 for every person. That's a really strong statistic to talk about, because that means that if we can get people, not just from Lynn, not just from the Essex County, but also from the greater Boston area, we really change what the downtown Lynn scene means in terms of value for the rest of the city. And that's something I'm really excited to look towards and really think about. That's the thing I would say is my first month has been a research and development month. I've been trying to meet with as many people as possible to hear about their experiences working in the downtown district, what they see as important and what they're interested in. I think the one thing that I'm really passionate about is having this be an organic and very reflective district of the people who are a part of that district and of Lynn itself. I think we could make the district look exactly like, let's see, Somerville, but that's not who we are. We're different than Somerville. And that's an important component of what I'm trying to do.
It's always important to research, you know, whereas you're trying to achieve this goal, right? It's very important to research the others who have achieved this goal, especially in surrounding communities, and using that as a comparison, but as well as a jumping off point.
Absolutely.
And I think you hit the nail on the head too, whereas you say that what you're trying to develop down there turns into a reflection of Lynn and its citizens.
Absolutely.
Kate, now you're the executive director over at the Lynn Historical Museum. You've been there for 4 years. We talked about this before the show. I didn't do that much research, but what you've done over there is phenomenal. Tell us how you're involved in all of this.
So I've spent my whole career in museums, more than 20 years. I'm dating myself, I know. But before coming to Lynn, I was at the Peabody Essex Museum. I worked there for a number of years, did some great programs with Raw Artworks and others, and really saw that Peabody Essex catalyzed that downtown area of Salem. It changed it, it transformed it. It was ironic because Peabody Essex, one of their mission lines is that they transform people's lives, using art and culture to transform lives. And you could really see that in so many ways in Salem, not just for the tourists and so forth, but also as far as education across the city and the things that the institution could do. So I came from that kind of a mindset, and my family's business is in Lynn. I grew up coming to downtown Lynn as well. So to be able to take that and kind of overlay that in Lynn, that idea that museums and these cultural institutions can come together to do something much greater than the sum of the parts. And I think it's funny, you know, as Corey was talking about coming downtown, you know, when it was thriving and there were so many things going on, and we get all the old timers that come in the museum, and we have old pictures of Union Street and, you know, storefronts, and there were theaters up and down, and it was amazing. And people love to come in and look at those photos and remember when. But more and more what I'm excited about is that you see people coming to events like a History and Hops beer tasting, and they're enjoying the current moment in Lynn, as well as reminiscing about the past. And I see a shift where, yes, people still have a nostalgia for all the things that there were, but they're starting to recognize the things that there are. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like those pictures, those are their lives. I mean, they lived that. So, I mean, I'm only 28, but I look back to like things that when I was a kid bring me kind of in that nostalgia phase, and I'm like, that was so cool. I'm happy I'm looking at this. So, you know, being there, that's probably plus 30 years, 50 years on me. It just must be an amazing experience. Now, the history of it is of Lynn just in general. I mean, there's an immense amount of history here. 1629 is when we incorporated. I mean, we're settled before then. Yeah. So there was a lot going on. I mean, like the Declaration of Independence hadn't been signed yet. Revolution wasn't even in our vocabulary. We were all pretty just happy with where we were. The 20s were a big part of Lynn's history as well. Kit, now you've been at Raw Arts for 25 years now. I'm not saying that you were around during the 20s, but tell me a little bit about, you know, your experience and the history that you've actually witnessed, some of the bads, some of the goods, and then where we are now.
When Raw started, we rented one floor, the top floor of this recently renovated building. EDIC was on the third floor, and there was a lot of vacant space. And I think Raw had been around for 5 years already. And we had, prior to that, we had been working in lockup facilities with boys and girls who were incarcerated.
And Mary Flannery, our founder, she and I have been working together for 27 years. And she and I looked at each other and said, you know, wouldn't it be great if we could get to those kids in lockup before they get locked up? And so I think when we first landed in Lynn, and again, sort of up above on this 4th floor, just, you know, about 2,000 square feet, we were trying to understand how is it that we're using the visual art with our teenagers. And so over time, as time went on, we were able to take up more space in the building, and ultimately in 2004 purchased the building, which gave us a ground floor. Now, we talk about what we do at RAW. We say it allows kids to do, say, 3 things. I am, I create, and we connect. So I think in the beginning for RAW, it was very much about what is RAW's I am here in Lynn. Let's identify, you know, how it is that we connect with kids and teenagers here. And I think as the years have gone on, certainly we've done so much I create. And I think that having bought the entire building, which, as I say, it was now 10 years ago that we bought the building, a lot of our focus has been on how do we connect. So we've got this fabulous gallery on the ground floor. You walk by these huge windows that actually open as bifold doors, and the whole building opens up. And we welcome the community to see what our kids have to say about what's really going on through their visual art. We've got a large screen that will drop down, and we have started showing the films that the kids make. These are films that now get submitted to festivals all over the country. We look out from our building and we look at those sort of ugly utility boxes, and Brendan Creighton invited us to start to transform some of those. So we have an all-boys public art team that goes out and starts to transform those. So especially in this year that we've been celebrating the 25th, you know, identity, creativity, and connection, especially with that last piece of connection. How is it that we're going out and connecting with our community through the arts? So we're talking about our neighbors in Lynn. We set out this spring to do portraits of 460 neighbors. We made almost 600 portraits of our neighbors, and people, you know, from the school district to the guy on the corner to people who are running a little bodega. And now what that's going to do is get projected up onto the long wall underneath the train as a huge mural, as a partnership with the MBTA. So it's really, when we had our opening night 2 weeks ago, City Hall let us close down the street and really just throw a big, free-for-all, family-friendly block party. And that's part of what we feel like we can inject into our neighborhood, and I think into the greater city, is through visual art, through film, and as I said earlier, now we've started to have some open mics. Our kids doing spoken word, giving the kids a forum for their voices to be heard in a constructive way, and for them to, like with these almost 600 portraits, connect with the neighbors in a very positive way.
I think what you guys are doing down there is, you can't even really measure the value. Like you had said at the beginning, you guys saw an opportunity for growth and improvement. And a lot of people, like, it's easy to get the answer, right? But like, you develop the answer and then you're supposed to work on the solution. A lot of people can get an answer, right? Oh, maybe we can get to these kids before they get into incarcerated or in jail. But it just ends there. I mean, you guys got into it and then you started doing the work and you started doing the due diligence, and that's really, like, I just can't even, I gotta thank you. I mean, I gotta thank you just because, just being a citizen in Lynn, you guys have been around for pretty much my whole entire life, and I've always heard good things. It's never been like, oh, Raw Artworks, those guys down there, they're always trying to make Lynn better. It's like, I mean, what you're doing, it's like you can't measure it. Now, you've been in partner, you had mentioned her name before, and I don't think that she's...
Mary Flanner and I started working together. There's art therapists. So Raw was started by art therapists. That combination of sort of psychology, social work, and the arts. So she and I started working together at Danvers State Hospital back in '87, I think. And it was a great partnership between she and I, but we realized that while we adored our patients and we loved working in that setting, we realized that we'll probably be able to impact and change more lives coming off that hill and working with teenagers and even children who have so much of their life in front of them. So yes, since 27 years, that work together, and our staff is a combination of art therapists and teaching artists and filmmakers. that are all pointed toward that same direction, igniting that desire to create and the confidence to succeed.
So let's talk a little bit about what it is today. Today we have Arts After Hours. You guys have a play every other month pretty much. We have the Lynn Historic Museum, which has an enormous amount of value. You guys have exhibitions all the time, exhibits, and on top of that you have events for your membership, as well as you rent out your space for delegates to use to kind of reach out to the public. There's a huge value in that. Huge, you can't even measure it, and I know I keep saying that, but the fact that like your space is utilized for not only just like teaching people about history, but involving the community is a big part of that. So I want to talk a little bit about what it is today. What's downtown Lynn have to offer to the community of Lynn?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning the space. We're in a state building. We are in a DCR-owned building, which we're very fortunate to have that as our landlord.
Right.
It was a visitor center previously, and we actually still operate as a visitor center for Lynn, which I think is really fitting because we've become more and more welcoming and to become kind of a central point for people to be able to get information, learn about the city, just make some kind of community connection. We renovated the space when I started about 4 years ago, and now it's completely opened up on the first floor. So we're able to host all kinds of events. We have everything from weddings and bat mitzvahs to family days that we put on to meetings with delegates, city meetings. We try and really keep it activated all the time. And it's been great because I think people really, you know, it sounds cliche, but they start to feel like they're making their own history there. And it's a space that I think people are becoming much more aware of, they feel much more welcome in, and we love that. So we offer family days quarterly, they're free for the public. We have things like live animal demonstrations. We have school tours all the time, and that's been terrific. We have adult talks, we have a series of author talks, we have a series of Mesa, which is like a lunchtime. Folks from the community with a specialty will come in and share it and talk about that. Everything from, we had an amazing herbalist a couple of months ago, to Lynn Beach painters, to doing genealogical research. So we have all kinds of programs all the time, and we're working more with partners in the community for backyard bashes, with Arts After Hours, with the district on different exhibitions and things. So I think it's become much more lively and engaging as we all come together and start to work together.
I think that that's really, I mean, that's what all this is attributed to, is you guys finding each other and developing this partnership, because you couldn't do it alone.
No.
You know, Kit, you tried to do it for 25 years, and you had somebody as great as Mary Flannery behind you. Now you've got these guys behind you as well. It must be easy to track the improvement. Corey, I don't know if you could speak to any like statistics or anything like that, but you could definitely tell us about some of the transition from when you first got there to what it is now, and how people are involved and actually gaining value out of this.
Yeah. I mean, when we first started, we were lucky to get 100 people to an event, and it was a one-night thing. Now we do runs of shows that are 13 nights or more, full houses every night. We're attracting 4,000 people. And so it's grown substantially in a short amount of time. It's because people are thirsty for this type of thing. You know, they want to do it. And we've started to latch on to other things that are close by. Salem's tourist economy in October. Well, let's do a Halloween themed show and get those people over, because there's really only a few things to do in Salem, the Penn being one amazing thing, and then the rest of it, I don't know. So why don't you come on over to Lynn instead of going to that wax museum or whatever, and see like some really good quality theater.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, like, Salem's fun, don't get me wrong. Like, I love to go to Salem. It's kind of like mini Boston. But living in Lynn so long, it's like you can't help but see the potential that's here. Name 5 other communities around us that have a woods reservation, that have a beach, that have a downtown cultural district. I mean, you can't really talk about that stuff because it doesn't exist yet. I think you guys are laying the foundation for it, and you're doing a great job in that. So right now, we've got about maybe 2 minutes left for the program. I want to take this time to reserve how people can get involved and what they can do to kind of help you guys achieve your goals. Who wants to take this one?
If it's all right, I will.
Sure.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more high level in terms of the district itself, maybe not specifically to the organizations. But you know what? Right now, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from your viewers. We need to hear from folks on the street. We want to know what's interesting to you and what you want to see downtown. And you can certainly email me at info@DTLCD, DTLCD.org, and share your story about your connection to the downtown district, how you'd like to be involved. I'm hoping soon to think about a volunteer corps to really find opportunities for people to get their hands dirty in events that we plan or projects that we think about launching, and really having it be an accurate reflection of the folks who live in Lynn. The other thing I would be remiss if we didn't talk for a moment about the support in terms of the Downtown Lynn Cultural District that we've received from the city and from the Economic Development Incorporation, correct?
EDIC.
EDIC.
Yes.
Economic Development and an Industry Corporation, and then the Community Development Office. And right there, that's another really great example of things that are happening in Lynn. That Lynn Auditorium and the programming that's happening down there, that's an amazing opportunity for us just a mere few blocks down the street to really find an opportunity to draw people down after a show to enjoy an after party with Arts After Hours or to enjoy a cocktail at the Blue Ox. There's so much happening, and I think, to your point, what we're looking to do now is we're looking to find partners in the business field, in the nonprofits who are interested in getting involved and being part of what we're doing.
Well, I think you guys are doing it without a doubt. Nothing I can say that you haven't heard already. The Downtown Lynn Cultural District is up and running, and more improvements are on the way. So if you're a Lynn citizen and you want to see what your city offers, get down there as soon as possible. Guys, I just want to thank you for coming onto the program today. That's about all the time we'll have for this episode of the LynnCAM TV show. From the studio here at LynnCAM TV, I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you guys all the best.